Hello lovely Flosstube friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren, also known as Cross Stitch Bunny, here on YouTube and over on Instagram. It is January the 31st and this is my January roundup. So I will be giving you sort of an overview of my January stitching, but with focus on the last 2 weeks of the month because I did get round to a mid-month update earlier in the month. So my first 2 weeks of January stitching you have already seen, but I will recap quickly and then I will focus on showing you the 4 projects that I have worked on since we last saw each other, one of which is a finish, and I also have some nice whips to share with you. It is lovely to be back filming today. A big hello to everybody that is new. I have had quite a few new subscribers over the last couple of weeks and I haven't done a hello newcomers sort of thing for a while. So hello if you have recently found me. I'm really glad that you have, and welcome back to everybody that watches me with any sort of regularity. I really do appreciate you all tuning in to spend a little bit of time with me and my stitching. I think today we are going to start with my finish, but before we look at that, I will just give you a very quick overview of my stitching diary for this month. So this is my January stitching diary pages all filled in. You can see I've had a few days of non-stitching. It has been a busy month. I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of the month where I didn't get round to stitching. And then I've got like my summary here, which I've not fully filled in yet, but these projects here were the ones I showed you in my first 2 weeks of Jan update. The ones with NS next to them were my new starts, and this is what I've worked on since I last saw you. So we have a finish, which you may have just spotted there, is my Jurassic Park whip, and I am so excited that this is finally done. I really had tried to get it done for Hadley's birthday. That was a little ambitious, which I had expected it would be, but it is now finished. So let's just get it folded into a good position for me to be able to show you. Let's see. There would be about right. Scoot myself over a bit so we can fit it nicely on this side of the camera, and there it is. So this is my Jurassic Park Part 1. The design is by the designer Petunova. I started this in January of 2023. I believe it was the 13th of January 2023, and I finished it. When did I finish it? I finished it on the 25th of January 2025, so it has been just over 2 years in the making, and here it is. Give you a bit of a close-up from the top down. So we have all the different dinosaurs and the foliage, all these different details in the back stitch. I absolutely love this whip. I love it now that it's finished. It was not my very favourite thing to work on, but I think it's just beautiful, and like all the detail in the back stitch really makes it. It just makes all these dinos come alive. Got the pretty dragonflies here. I stitched this on 14 count, just pale blue Ada, and I used CXC threads, stitching 2 threads over 1. So there we have my January finish. It is really nice to start off the year with a finish under my belt. It's a nice way to end January, having one finish under my belt. It is a good start to the year. It feels good. What I am going to do is all this excess fabric where part 2 should have gone, I'm no longer going to do part 2. I just want to measure this now that it's finished, get a suitable frame ordered that will fit it, and then I'm just going to self FFO this, get it framed as soon as I can, and get it onto Hadley's wall in his bedroom. So hopefully at some point in February I will be able to show you that FFO'd, and I am just going for the option of a very simple a simple frame of some kind, so I can just get that onto his wall very quickly. The next thing we will look at is my Botanical sal. So this is the Steady Thread Botanical sal from 2023. I have mentioned in my last few videos that myself and Charlie Feathers are hosting Floral Fridays sal, which means that you are welcome to pick up any floral whip. So it could be very floral, or it could even just be something with a few floral elements, and it could be, the focus could be on something else, but as long as it's got flowers in it of some description, you can stitch on it on Floral Fridays. So that is what I am doing with this. I'm trying to do a minimum of 1 hexagon every Friday. Today is Friday, I've just realised. So yes, I will be working on this today at some point. I haven't worked on it yet today. And this is where we are. I'm trying to remember which is the most recent one. It is this one, I'm fairly certain. This one here. So this is the one that I have done on the most recent Floral Friday. And that one didn't take too long. I think it took me about 20 to 25 minutes, really not long at all. I didn't do any more hexagons, so my grid is still the same size. I just did that one infill. So what am I on now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I am 8 hexagons in, with many, many more to go. But I will definitely do at least one more today. I might even squeeze in more than one today, try and get a little bit ahead of schedule. This is being stitched on a 16 count, I think. 16 count Ada. I think it's either the Rustico or the old parchment Ada from my own Stitch Bunny shop. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this is looking. The threads are completely random. I don't even know the brand. They are just from a little stash I got in somebody else's D-stash, and I'm just using those because that's a sort of ideal project for using up threads that are not labelled. Next is my Wordy bird sal, and oh my goodness, this one has caused me an absolute headache and a nightmare. I love this whip. I love the design. It is so super pretty, a really, really pretty design. I'm trying to keep up with them in their given months, and so this should be finished, and it would have been finished if I had not run into such an unbelievable set of disasters and headaches with it, which I will quickly explain to you. The good news is my mistake is fixable. I thought it wasn't. It is. But yes, I've really been set back with this. I was steaming ahead full steam, aiming for a finish by today, and it didn't happen. So this is where we were last time you saw this whip. As I said, I felt like I was making really good progress. I was confident that this would be a January finish, and then disaster struck. I was staring at the whip and realised, if I just try and get it as close to the camera as I can. So if you just look at it, it looks fine until you get a little bit closer. I'll try and get you as close as I can. And you can see that here and here is different when it should be the same. So here we have 2 stitches, 2 stitches away from the bird for this first flower, and that is correct. And here we have only 1 stitch between the bird and the flower, and I was like, oh dear. So I thought, okay, I'll just unpick these snowdrops, no problem, and I'll reinstate them. But then what was really confusing me is that on this side they line up exactly where they should, and I had counted my brown line and that was all correct, and my tree was lined up correctly with the middle petal of this 3rd snowdrop from this side. So if I unpicked this row and moved them over, then these were going to be out of line with the brown line, the tree was going to be out of line, and I was just at an absolute loss for my mistake. And this whip incited a lot of angry language in me on a particular evening. Oh, I was furious to the point where Adam actually turned around to me and was like, you're not like this very often with your stitching, because I'm not. I usually don't get so angry, but I love this whip so much and I so want it to be perfect. I was positively enraged, not by the mistake itself, but by the fact I couldn't work out how to fix it. And everything I looked at, I was like, well, if I move that, then that's wrong. And if I move, it was terrible. I completely threw my toys out of the pram and I put this away for like 2 or 3 days without touching it. And then I sent a message to a couple of little stitching groups that I'm in, one being the Red Cabbage Priests group, which is the group of stitchers I met at my very first no-band retreat. The strange name of our group is related to the fact that when we were having an anagram sort of competition where you had to arrange the letters to spell different mirabilia designs, we were stuck on one particular one and we just kept getting Red Cabbage Priest. And then we realised at the last minute it was Red Cabbage Sprite, the Red Cabbage Sprite. But Sprite and Priest, when you're doing an anagram, they are made up of the same letters. So yes, it was really funny at the time. And we've called ourselves the Red Cabbage Priest group on our Facebook chat group ever since. So yes, just a random fun fact for you there. And when I sent it to the other Red Cabbage Priests, it was Anita the Violet Stitcher. Her brain is amazing. Honestly, if you ever have made a mistake in your stitching and you can't find it, I bet Anita probably can. I had been agonising over this for hours. She found my mistake in between 5 and 10 minutes. It was definitely not 10 minutes before she messaged back and she was like, this is what you've done wrong, Lauren. And that's without even having the pattern in front of her. Amazing. So the mistake that Anita spotted for me is that the reason this is too close, it's just these last 2 snowdrops. That is it. You can see all these ones have a 1 stitch gap between each flower. And then suddenly I've got a 2 stitch gap between these 2. So literally the only thing I need to do to fix it is unpick 2 flowers, pop them over. That will give me the correct gap here and everything else will still line up. So yes, hugest thanks to the amazing Anita for spotting my mistake. And you know, sometimes when you've just been looking at something too long and you're too close to it, and as soon as she pointed it out to me, I was then angry at myself. I was like, how have I stared at this whip for literally probably 2 or 3 hours, getting more and more irate? And how have I not spotted what a simple mistake I have made? But I didn't see it. I was blind to it and Anita found it for me. As you can see, I've not fixed it yet, but I'm going to. That is going to be a job for today. I'm going to get my Botanical sal sort of ticked off, and then the rest of my stitchy time for today, whatever stitchy time I get, I'm going to sit, I'm going to work on Wordy birds, and I'm going to pull that out and correct it. And then hopefully carry on with finishing down here. So I've got O is falling at the moment. It should be snow. So I've just got 2 letters to put in here. Winter needs to go in here, I think. Yeah, snow is falling, winter is calling, I think it says. So I've just got the word winter, the first 2 letters of snow, and then I just have a pretty band of flowers to go under here, and this will be finished. I'm not sure it will be finished today, but I'm hoping that in the next 2 days this will be a finish. So by the time my mid-month episode is due around Valentine's Day, middle of February, I will be able to show you the January piece finished. I am hoping to start the February one, but as I previously mentioned, it will be dependent on the threads I have in stash. I don't want to be buying threads monthly to kit up one of these a month, so any threads that I don't have will just have to be omitted. I'll have to get on with the materials I've got, and at some sort of later date, any missing threads, I will sort of buy them all in one go or tack them onto bigger orders for other things. This is being stitched on 32 count. It is Zweigart Blue Splash with all the little sort of snowy bits on it, and I do love this fabric. I did post a picture of my progress of this on Instagram, and I was really excited that Sweet Wing Studio commented on it, saying that she loved my fabric choice. So yes, that was a very happy moment. I was really pleased that she liked my fabric choice. Always nice. Always nice when the actual designer of a pattern that you're working on comments on any of your updates. So that was an exciting moment. That is my Wordy Birds whip. Definitely looking forward to starting February's instalment. I'm also waiting very impatiently for the March pattern to be released, because with the previous two we have received them the month ahead, and tomorrow is February, so I don't know that we'll receive it on the 1st of the month, probably not, but I'm hoping that in the first week or two of February the March pattern will be unveiled. I'm very excited for that. Velcro. My last whip to share with you today is my Valentine's whip that I've been very organised with this year, to have a Valentine's whip started well in advance so that hopefully I may finish it on time. I think I really will. This is Creepy Valentine Bouquet by Maria Demina, also known as Little Room in the Attic. It originally came as a set of 3 patterns. This is where I was the last time you saw it, and then this is where I am at now. So here we are, and I just love this, like the back stitch just makes it. It absolutely makes it. Incredible detailing with the back stitch on all of Maria's patterns. I adore her style. All of this was done last time you saw it, but nothing above here was done, I don't believe. So I have really made an excellent start on these flowers. It's more than a start really. I'm not far off finishing these flowers, and then I've started the scissors here, which will continue to extend out to the side. Not done any back stitch up top yet, but I'm happy with having done half the back stitch. That was a very clean line to sort of work below, and I'm not going to do any more back stitch now until all of this is finished. So I will just plow on with getting all of the stitching done up top, and then it will be time to backstitch and finish this. 100% this will be a February finish. It will be before Valentine's Day. I will have it done. So yes, that means I'm definitely, without a doubt, going to have 2 finishes to share with you in my next episode, which is quite exciting. Then I will be on at least 3 finishes for the first 2 months of the year. It is definitely easier when you're working on things that are that little bit smaller. I am enjoying having some smaller projects back in my rotation. I did get to a stage where most of the smalls, or I think all of the smalls, were done, and I only had like moderate size or large size projects on the go. It is nice to get some of that like excitement of finishing smaller things, at least for me, in between bigger things. I always consider myself to be a process stitcher, like I stitch for the joy of the stitching itself rather than for the end result. But even so, I can get fatigued and feel disheartened if I don't finish anything for long periods of time. So having whips of different sizes I think really does help with that. I am stitching this on a 32 count piece of linen from my own Stitch Bunny shop, and it is called Nostalgia. If I just hold it up against here again, you can just see it's a very nice neutral. Nothing too fancy about it, but it was just a little scrap that I had left over from a larger project, and it was the right size for this. So I thought, yeah, may as well use it up rather than cutting into a bigger piece of something else. So that is my 4 whips. That is my stitching to share with you for today. I don't have any haul. I've been very good in January. I have not bought anything since I last saw you. Do I have anything else to share with you? Yes. So I did want to mention the Twinkle Tuesday sale. This whip that I've just shown you, I worked on this Tuesday just gone, and if it manages to make it till Tuesday coming up without already being finished, I will work on it again on Tuesday. But if not, I will be finding another whip with sparkles. So this whip has a lot of gold and purple sparkly Krynic in it, which makes it perfect for Twinkle Tuesdays. What are Twinkle Tuesdays, you ask? Well, Myself and Rosie X Stitchers, are hosting the Twinkle Tuesday sale. I may have already mentioned it in my last episode, but I'm going to mention it again in case I didn't. We just decided that from now on, every Tuesday going forward shall be sparkly. Tuesdays shall forever be sparkly. We both have a lot of patterns in our stashes that call for beads or shiny metallic threads, and we also have lots of sparkly fabrics in general. So even if a project itself does not have beads or sparkly threads in it, you can stick anything onto sparkly fabric and it immediately becomes twinkly. Twinkly Tuesdays just means picking up any whip that falls into any of those categories and stitching on it on a Tuesday. So Rosie and I are going to do this indefinitely going forward, and I may switch my project out week to week. I've got plenty to choose from. Quite a few people have joined us, I'm pleased to say, and I have been tagging people on Instagram, like anybody that's been tagging me to show off their Twinkle Tuesday posts, I have been sharing them on my stories. So if you keep an eye on my Instagram stories on a Tuesday, anyone that's joining in, I will share your posts, and I'm really enjoying seeing everybody's stitching. There has been a real variety of different projects that have joined us, and I look forward to see what people switch out to in coming weeks, and it will be fun to have some other people on board. Speaking of sales in general, there is an Instagram page that I have only just discovered. I'm sure that many of you already know about it. I did not, and I would just like to give this particular Instagram account a mention because I think it's a really good one for all stitchers that might be interested in sales. Bear with me, I'm just trying to find it. Yeah, anyone that's interested in just knowing what sales are currently running, especially because Instagram hashtags have become very unhelpful now that you can't search by most recent posts. This is a lovely group. I hope that the camera will focus on my phone. It is called Cross Stitch Salander with an underscore between cross stitch and salander. Don't know if you can see that very well. Hopefully you can make out the name there at the top. So it is the Cross Stitch Salander page, and they just post details. So if I just click on this one, they just post details of loads of different sales. If you are deciding to run a sale, you can just fire off the details to them in a message and they will post it for you. So that is what myself and Rosie did. But there are loads of lovely sales on here. Some are for specific projects, some are for specific themes, maybe an animal theme, and some are sort of wider reaching sales like the one myself and Rosie are doing where it's very open. But yeah, there are just so many interesting sales on this group. You can just scroll and look at all the different sales that people have submitted to the page. There's some lovely ones on here. If I just pick out a couple of randoms that I didn't know about until I discovered this page, there is OFE Friday sale. And this one means that you work on any owl forest. I don't know why I'm holding it there because it's too bright. You can work on any owl forest embroidery pattern on a Friday. So that is an example. If you've got owl forest embroidery patterns, I do. I could join this sale, although I'm currently doing floral Fridays, so I will refrain. But yeah, you stitch on anything owl forest. So that's a good one for owl forest fans. This is Rosie's new sale, which I haven't joined yet, but I think I will. I didn't know she'd submitted it to the page. I love the name of this one, ladies and gents. This is Get Your Gecko Out. Isn't it brilliant? It made me laugh when she messaged me that on WhatsApp, and I was like, it's perfect. I love the name. So this is the Get Your Gecko Out sale being hosted by Rosie X Stitchers and also by Cross Stitch Jess as well. It's got an open start date, an open finish date. You just need to stitch on anything by Gecko Rouge. I may well jump onto this sale fairly soon, the next time I decide to get out a Gecko Rouge project. There are some lovely things on here. There is the Love Great and Small sale being hosted by the Pyjama Stitcher. At a glance, it looks like this is designed to have you start something love themed or Valentine's-y. Yeah. A really good resource, I think, this particular Instagram account, just for seeing what sales are going on. And obviously the more people that know about the page, the more people that submit themselves to the page, the better it will be. So definitely give that one a follow on Instagram. My life update for the last 2 weeks of January is nothing too interesting. We have just been busy with life, busy at home, busy with dogs, puppies. My house had just grown into a very big mess all over. I think as a knock-on effect from Christmas and the kids just having new stuff to play with and all these things, it was getting slightly out of control, so I've spent a lot of time correcting that. I'm currently in my living room and it's wonderfully clean for a change, as in cluttered. You know, I always try and keep it clean, but clean and tidy are two different things, and it's often that our house is not tidy because of all the stuff that they throw everywhere. So I've made a big effort the last few weeks and I do feel a lot better for it, like to have a nice calm space here to sit and not look at a sea of toys is nice. They still get them out and play with them, but I just blasted the room to get it to complete tidiness, and now I'm trying to tidy up as they do it rather than letting it get out of hand. So yes, nothing too exciting has been going on. I had my ovens cleaned. That's probably not very exciting to anyone else, but it was very exciting for me. I tried to get them booked in for a clean before Christmas. There was no chance. I had left it too late, but they were cleaned a couple of days ago, 2 days ago. So yes, I've got 2 very sparkly ovens that look like they are brand new on the inside again. That is pleasing to me, and I'm now being paranoid about every spill or like mopping every tiny bit up. I want them to stay that clean and shiny for as long as possible. Before long, it is going to be the half-term holiday for both my children. That is imminent. So yeah, I'm sure that's happening at some point in February. I need to check my diary, but my only sort of plans for that are that we are going to try and go and see my mum and dad for a few days, which will be lovely. Coco. Is that Coco? I have nothing else of particular note to share with you. January has just been a month of getting over the Christmas chaos, getting round to undecorating, which I did embarrassingly late. My Christmas decorations only came down, I think, maybe a week ago. That is because they are sort of confined to one specific room in the house, and it is a room, like that particular living room is not this living room. It's not our day-to-day room. I can just close the door on it and pretend it's not there, but enough was enough, and I finally found time to put that all away. So all my Christmas decks are gone until next Christmas. We have had puppies, so there's been plenty of puppy things going on. I'm sort of starting to plan for the upcoming kids' school holiday, the half term, which will be upon us before I know it. I have loose plans to go and stay with my mum and dad for a couple of days with the kids. I just need to organise the dates with my mum. So I think that might mean that for a few days in February I will be there and may get a little less stitching time. I don't tend to stitch when I go to my mum's. I always drag a project along with me just in case. I rarely work on it, so we will see. But hopefully I will still get some decent progress in February. I will see you in a couple of weeks, hopefully with a finished Wordy Birds with no more errors made, hopefully with a finished Creepy Valentine, and hopefully I will have enough of the threads in my stash to be able to start the Wordy Birds February, and I can share with you the March pattern because that will have been released by then, I'm sure of it. Take care everyone. I hope you get some wonderful stitching over the next couple of weeks until we see each other again. If you have enjoyed this video and you are not subscribed to my channel, please think about clicking that button and doing so. I do really appreciate it, and I will see you all very soon. Happy stitching. Bye.